Speaking of drinks, speaking of drinks, Coke is in the mix. Coke is in the news recently. They're under fire actually because they had promised the people to come out. So they came out with this new ad saying they're coming out with a new flavor called Coke Spiced, spiced with a D, and it promised like the ad never said it was spicy, but I mean you can infer from the name that it's gonna be spicy, and it just they never described the actual flavor in the ad. It just kind of the camera just like zoomed into the person's throat, pause, and it just showed like what the emotions are, and it's like balloons popping and some other examples and stuff.
I did see that ad. I mean, it didn't imply that like you're gonna be like hot. But
Yeah.
spicy is spicy.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's spiced, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's a very small nuance in
Yeah.
what people get. And yeah, I guess the whole thing. I saw the article was it wasn't spicy. Obviously,
No.
it was more like a cinnamon flavor. People were describing it as, and so they're like, "The fuck, Coke, this is mid.
Yeah.
This isn't like what we signed up for."
No.
And apparently, it's not that nice either. Which,
No.
like, if it was like only subtle, but it was nice, then
Yeah.
sure. But someone was saying, I saw online that it tastes like dead flowers,
Dead flowers.
which is a terrible indictment of the flavor.
Yeah. Because I mean,
Yeah.
it's a tricky one because they came out with this ad like you'd think they're coming like with a flavor that's never been done before, which is probably true. Like on paper, a spiced flavor in a soft drink is kind of like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. It's like Dr. Pepper, I guess. In the States, they have that. And in other places, they have Dr. Pepper is a lot more common.
Yeah, and they
Dr.
came out
Pepper
with
doesn't call itself spicy, does
No.
it? It's cinnamon.
yeah, and they came out with two versions. One's like a regular Coke Spice, and one's a Coke Spice with like a hint of raspberry. I want to say. This was back in February of this year, actually, believe it or not. But I had never heard of it before, like yesterday, and So the gist is they took 7 weeks of campaigning with the ads, which is not common for Coke as a brand. Coke as a brand usually takes like a year to start rolling out ads. Even like when they're like sponsoring like football tournaments and stuff, they start like promoting that stuff like a year before. Like when it comes to like the Euros, when it comes to the World Cups and stuff.
Yeah. It was like flavor development as well, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
they only took 7 weeks to
From
to
dot
land
zero
the flavor.
to release,
Yeah. I mean,
just under 2 months.
my thing is like, should it really take that long? I don't know what goes into
Yeah.
like testing and stuff, but obviously like they cut some corners in testing and didn't land on I would say their usual quality, but I hate Coke.
Yeah.
So
Okay, just before we get into that, I think just going on the ad one more time is that like they did promise. Again, I don't want to say they promised anything spicy, but the visuals that they showed was like it was inferring the idea that it's gonna be spicy, it's gonna be fiery, if anything. Like it's just like it's almost like having pop rocks in your mouth, kind of spicy, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I would imagine to be a Coke Spice thing.
it's like a 5-gum thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then the second it came out, people tried it, and they said that it tastes like dead flowers. They said it tastes like a old like Christmas cake. Like it was bad. It was really bad.
I hate Christmas cake as well.
It was so bad they had to pull it from shelves,
Yeah.
which is like kind of a big deal for a brand like Coke to like back down like that.
Yeah.
This quick. Like I think they only released it for just under a month or just over 2 weeks. And within a month they like pulled it from all retailers.
Yeah.
And it's just like due to the customer's dissatisfaction.
When you do something like that, you definitely impact your brand a little bit. It's hard because something like Coke is such a big brand.
Yeah.
But the analogy I like to use is like a brand can show up like a friend would show up. And like
Yeah.
if you're a Coke customer and a regular Coke buyer, then you feel a certain way about Coke like you would feel a friend, obviously not as strongly.
Yeah.
But it's like if a good friend kind of let you down,
Yeah.
they're still your friend. These people are still probably going to buy Coke because they've been buying Coke for a long time.
Yep.
But they might feel a little bit less
Yeah.
about their friend, and maybe if it's not the first time, if they had some bad experiences recently, maybe they'll change ship.
They'll do the switch. Now
Drink
I
some
want to say
fucking
you're in the
water.
minority by liking Pepsi over Coke. Why are you different? What happened in your life to...
Pepsi's better, man. Pepsi's just straight up better.
So what kind of Pepsi do you drink, just for the record?
I drink Pepsi Max.
Pepsi Max.
And we call it Beepus.
Beepus. And so you'd rather Beepus Max over Coke Zero?
Oh, yeah.
Unironically.
Coke Zero tastes like garbage. Coke No Sugar, the new one, like
Yeah.
the Coke, or there's like Coke Zero. There was Coke Zero, which tastes like chemicals.
Diet Coke.
And there was Coke No Sugar, which just tasted weird.
Yeah.
Now there's the Coke. There's like a combination. I find like that one's almost the worst iteration.
Yeah.
I will say, Diet Coke is good.
Right.
I do like Diet Coke.
What's the difference between Diet Coke and Coke Zero and Coke No Sugar?
I don't fucking know. I think it must be the type of sweetener they use.
Probably.
And then I just feel like the sweetener is probably closer or more similar to Pepsi Max because they hit the same caramelly goodness.
Yeah.
And in terms of refreshing beverage, but yeah, I've never been a Coke guy.
But Pepsi tastes... I want to say Pepsi tastes more fruity, right? Like, it's...
Apparently, the reason why Pepsi always wins at the blind taste tests is that it's slightly sweeter.
Yep.
So your first taste is like bitter. I just find it like so yum. I don't have I have like a small thin can.
Yeah.
I've actually Pavlov's dogged myself.
Yeah.
Because I had it so much after lunch, and now like whenever I have lunch, especially if I eat anything spicy,
Yeah.
I'll just crave Pepsi Max. But 0 calorie, like fuck, you gotta have you gotta have a little treat now and then. I reckon the allegations around the whole cancer causing unfounded aspartame is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Apparently you need to have a stupid amount for it to have any effect.
Yeah. More than like...
There's the whole glucose sensitivity side of things, but
How much do you have per day? Just one?
never more than one.
Yeah. I heard who was it? I think it was Donald Trump that had like his diet came out and it was like he had 12 Diet Cokes a day or some shit like that.
Oh, do you know?
Stupid.
Oh, who's the golfer? Oh, this is really annoying me because think about this dude weekly. No, I've lost it. This is golfer. He's like raw talent.
Deschamps?
No. Raw talent, big dude. He's like an old school golfer. Oh, it's really bothering me that I can't picture his name. But anyway, his whole thing was like he'd rock up to the tee like a minute before tee time, no warm up, with a dart in hand.
Yeah.
And like they had tracked him over some rounds.
Yeah.
Oh, John Daly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Absolute machine.
Yeah.
He just got show up and just punch like 12 Diet Cokes,
Yeah.
12 chocolate bars, no water, a pack of smokes.
God damn.
And shoot like under par. And like he was just an absolute, his body, his poor body.
Yeah.
But you also see photos of him now, and like he looks like he's 80, but he's like late 50s.
Yeah.
Like some of his competitors and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're a bit leathery because they're golfers, but
Yeah.
they look a lot younger.
It's rough.
It's taking its toll.
Definitely. I think, I don't know why Coke tried to do this whole thing of like jumping on the spice trend. I think it's almost pointless. Like, if anything, Coke should be the thing where it's like to combat the spice with, maybe.
Yeah. I think
They're just dick riding.
they're just trying new things. I think with your brand, like you've got the same formula for so long, they need to throw something out there to get that
it fresh.
relevance.
Yeah.
I feel like if they executed the flavor right, it's just another thing that sits on their shelves for a couple
Yep.
months. Although they're saying it was going to be like a permanent fixture originally, weren't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're just trying new things. I think it's not a bad idea to have spiced Coke. At first, I was like, that's weird, but the only time I actually drink Coke is with rum, and you can get spiced rum. There's some delicious spiced rums out there.
Life hack.
Shout out to Sailor Jerry's. You can have a spiced rum and Coke, delicious.
Yeah.
But if you think spiced Coke, my immediate reaction was like, oh, I don't know. But
Yeah.
like, if you just put a normal rum with a spiced Coke, maybe you could find a little combo there.
Yeah.